Hey guys, it's Sharice. I am the maker and owner at adornedbysharice.com. I create polymer clay and resin earrings, as well as home accents such as mugs, coasters, etc. So today we're going to be making polymer clay earrings, and we're working with a screen print. This is my first time working with a screen. It's an animal print. So that's what we'll be working with today. If you would like to see my process, stay tuned, and I will also link my website information below. So if you would like to shop my items, I have an Etsy and I also have a website. So I'll leave that information below. And like I said, I'm going to start this process now. So if you would like to learn how to use a screen print, or if you would just like to see my process, stay tuned. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be using a silk screen to create a beautiful effect on white polymer clay. This is my first time using a silk screen, and I decided to do a tutorial, or make along with me, and you can see how to use this, and we're just going to learn together. This is also my first time using white polymer clay by itself. I usually do not use white clay because I'm afraid that it will get dirty, or I might just mess it up somehow. But I went ahead and I cleaned my area very well. And this is also my first time using Fimo. I usually use Primo by Sculpey. So we're going to see how this goes, because this is my first time doing a lot of things in this video. As you can see, there is a little bit of lint in my clay, even though I cleaned my area very well. So that's to be expected. The clay is white, so we just have to work with what we have. I'm picking it out, and then I'm conditioning my clay. Whenever you use polymer clay, you want to condition it very well so that it is durable, and all the oils in the clay are mixed together and it's soft, and yeah, all that good stuff. So I'm rolling it out, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it in my pasta machine on the thickest setting so that we can start cutting out so we can start doing our screen printing process and then cut out our pieces. Here, after I put it through the pasta machine, I went ahead and rolled it out very lightly just to get some of the ridges out from the machine. Usually that does happen. So if you do get ridges from your pasta machine, it's not a big deal. Just lightly roll over it, pick it up and roll over it a little bit, and then those ridges will go away. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and lay down my silk screen. This is from Create Along. I got it off of Etsy, and there's specific instructions on how to use it. So if you purchase this, just make sure to use the instructions. It states to have the shiny side down on the clay, and that's what I did. And now I'm getting my Extreme Sheen metallic paint in gold, and I'm layering this, or I'm just pouring this at the top of the screen so that we can get ready to spread it over the clay. This paint is from Michaels, and it is acrylic paint, just in case you were wondering. And so the instructions say to, at an angle, spread the paint down the screen, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I don't think they want you to hold your tool upright completely, because then it could possibly bleed the paint underneath and distort the print. So yeah, I'm trying to use as least strokes as possible. They said to not use too many strokes either, but yeah, I kind of use a lot of strokes, so that's what I did. Okay, so the instructions state to lift up each corner very carefully, because if you see that you miss some spots, you can just go ahead and reposition it right back down and add more paint. So that's why I'm moving so slow here. It did turn out very nice. There were no issues, so I'm pretty happy with my result. Okay, now I'm just lifting my slab up with my tissue blade. You always want to use a tissue blade and not just pull your slab from the glass because then you can rip it or distort it. But yes, this is how it came out. It's beautiful. I really like this metallic paint. It's just perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. So yeah. Now I'm going to use my cutters that I received off of Etsy. I tried to buy as many tools from makers on Etsy as possible because I'm also on Etsy even though I have my own website, and I just like to support small businesses or, business owners. So if you would like cute cutters, go on Etsy. They have so many different types. And so now I'm pressing my clay cutter into the clay, and I use this little black board. It's an acrylic board that I put vinyl over, and it just helps save my hands from the pain sometimes from trying to get the cutter through the clay. This clay I've noticed is tough, it's not very soft. So yeah, you want to make sure that you get that cutter all the way through. And I also noticed this clay is a little bit sticky, so in the next shot you'll see that I have to use a tool to gently poke the clay out of the cutter, which is fine. It didn't really mess it up or anything. So okay, so here you can see that I got some of my clay stuck into the cutter. And I'll explain to you what you can do to prevent this, or at least try to help prevent this. If you can tell, the bottom part of my slab, some of the paint rubbed off of the leopard prints. And that's because I tried to stick my clay slab down to my glass work surface and I rubbed some of the paint off. So just make sure you let your paint dry, I would say for at least an hour. I only let mine dry for about 30 minutes. And then try to stick your clay down to your work surface before you cut. And then when you cut, the pieces will stick down to your work surface instead of your cutter. Okay, so I think that will help with this. I like this clay, this female professional. I like it. It seems very sturdy. It's just that you have to, certain clays you have to work with differently. So yeah, that's all. If you notice here, I'm cutting slowly because when you're cutting your pieces as well, you want to get the best portion of the print. So that's why I'm so slow. I'm looking at which portion of the slab I like the best and cutting out those pieces like that. Okay, also when you're working with your clay while it's raw, you want to go ahead and try to smooth out any edges that you see that may be having extra clay on them, because it makes your sanding process much easier and faster. Okay, and now I'm also going to go ahead and use a little dotting tool to just position where I would like to use my Dremel, because I want to make sure that I have it exactly where I want it when it's time to drill the holes into the clay. Now it's time to bake my clay. As I said before, this is my first time using white, and this is my first time using Fimo. And for my Primo clay, I usually bake for about an hour on temperature 230 degrees. But as you'll see in the next clip, I probably baked these too long. I did bake them at 230 degrees for an hour as well, but this is white clay and white browns in the oven. So you'll see what happens next. I wanted to add that I always use an oven thermometer, and I bake on a piece of paper, and I also tint it with a foil pan. This is the after baking. As you can see, they are not exactly white. They are a little brown, or I guess beigeish cup beigeish. Is that a word? Beigeish. Anyway, yeah, I still think they're gorgeous. But next time I'm going to bake them for less time. I'm going to bake them from less time. And since I do coat my pieces with resin, they will still be sturdy and I think they'll be perfectly fine. So next time I'll just bake them for a little shorter than an hour. And if you want to clean your clay pieces, if you see that they have any extra debris on them, or any lint pieces, you can get a Q-tip and use 100% acetone, and this will remove any debris that you have on your pieces after you bake them. You only need a little bit of acetone. You don't want your Q-tip drenched and dripping all over your piece because then it will remove your design. So get a paper towel, dab it, and then whatever is on that Q-tip, just smooth it over the edges of your piece. And make sure you do not get this on the front of your piece if you have a design because it will erase it. Once you're satisfied with the cleanliness of your pieces and the smoothness, I sand them, or you can sand them down. I use this buffing tool that I got off of Amazon. Well, this buffing piece. The Dremel I got from Lowe's. And you just go over the edges of your pieces and you sand it down with this buffing tool. I don't know why I'm saying sanding when it's a buffer, but clay is pretty soft. So if you set it to about the 3 setting on your Dremel, it does sand it down. So technically it's sanding to me. With these particular pieces, I'm not paying any attention to buffing the fronts because I don't want to mess up my design, obviously, but usually you do want to go ahead and work from the back anyway because it's easier to get to those hard to reach places without causing any scratches or distorting the front at any, at all. And usually the front of our pieces they look pretty good because we pay so much attention to them in the beginning. And the backs, they get stuff stuck to the back or they're just not as smooth as we would like. So I like to pay close attention to the backs once they're baked, just to, finish them up and give them a more polished professional look. Now we can drill the holes into our pieces. We made marks into our clay before we baked it to make this process a lot easier. Sometimes when you're drilling the holes into your clay without the marks, it could be stressful because you don't want to ruin your piece and make the hole somewhere that you didn't intend to, or have that drill bit slip around and mess up your design. So using that dotting tool when you can remember to, because I do forget, it really does help. So try to remember to use that little dotting tool. You don't need to go through the clay when you're dotting it before it's baked, but just make a little mark just so you know where you would like to start drilling your hole. Now I'm going to coat my pieces in UV resin. I ordered this off of Amazon and you will need a UV light. I don't personally recommend using sunlight because it takes forever and your pieces will be tacky. And yeah, I prefer to use a UV light. I'll show it to you in the next clip, but they're on Amazon and they're very inexpensive. So yeah. Yeah, go ahead and pour your UV resin out, or you can just use it straight out of the bottle. I prefer to put it inside of this palette and cover it up so that it doesn't cure, and just use it that way. But there's so many different ways you can spread your UV resin. It's just a personal preference. Once your pieces are all coated, place them in your UV lamp and set that timer. I would keep it in there for about 10 minutes minimum, just to be sure they're cured hard and strong. And yeah, this is mine. I got it off of Amazon for about $15. Okay, now that we have cured the resin over our piece, this is how it looks. These pieces are beautiful and shiny, and they're even more durable now that we added that resin onto the top, because resin does add strength to your piece. And usually at this point, I add a earring post to the back of my clay piece. But these are my own personal pair, and I'm just going to glue the back on because I'm not really worried about it breaking or falling off. But to my professional pieces, I add the glue and I glue the post on, and then I cure resin over the post. So this is an extra step that I take for my professional earrings that I sell on my website, adornedbycherise.com. And I did do this and I showed this process in a previous video. I'll link it so that you can see how that process goes, but it's pretty simple. But yeah, like I said, these are my own personal pair, so I'm not worried about the backs falling off. My Loctite glue works pretty good just to keep them on. You might notice that I have little pieces of washi tape over the tips of my pliers, and this works to help you not scratch your findings if your hand slips, or just, just in case you grip a little too hard. You don't want to bend your findings or scratch them. I believe I learned that on Instagram. I can't remember from who exactly, but yeah, you want to go ahead and try that out because it does protect your findings pretty well. Here is the Loctite glue I was telling you about. And like I said, usually before I add my component to the earring, I glue it down like this, and then I add an extra layer of resin over it for my professional earrings. But for my own personal collection, I just use the Loctite and I don't have problems. But I like to make sure that my professional earrings have every step possible to have them last. So here I'm just doing the first step. Okay, so here are my finished earrings. I absolutely love them. They're beautiful and they're perfect for summer. If you would like your own personal pair, please shop my boutique, adornedbycherise.com. Or if you prefer Etsy, I also have an Etsy boutique. I'll link it below. And please like, comment, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.